Sometimes it's better to look less smart than we actually are. It can help us grow professionally and improve our relationships. We shouldn't appear overly intelligent if we want to find the one for the rest of our lives. We should pretend to be stupid instead. We should be idiots if we wish to advance in our careers. And we should be total idiots if we wish to lead a contented, stress-free existence. There is definitely a distinction between being foolish and just acting that way. To reach absolute idiocy, you don't have to use chemicals to kill off brain cells. Playing dumb is usually sufficient. Let's now look at why success is frequently better when one is a fool or seen as such. There are three major sections to our journey through idiocy. We start by talking about how being foolish can help you advance in your job or form connections. We next show you how to utilize dullness to defeat a more intellectual opponent in a debate. Then we remind ourselves that stupid people have been incredibly resilient throughout history. In conclusion, we disclose three more benefits of being a fool. For heaven's sake, be foolish. It is unfortunate but true that people frequently look for friendship with those they believe to be less capable or bright than themselves in order to feel superior or in control of their minds. The German philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer developed this theory, contending that people's innate need for superiority might cause them to seek out foolish companionship, even when it is not advantageous to their well-being or intellectual development. For instance, you might not be recruited if your prospective boss feels threatened by you during a job interview if he suddenly believes you are smarter than he is. For you, what does this observation mean? The more intelligent you are, the less likely you are to be accepted by those with less intelligence. As a result, you will receive fewer party invites and have less opportunities to meet significant others, such as the love of your life or a handy person who could support your profession. In their hearts, most individuals don't want to be around smartasses because they fear being eclipsed by someone smarter than them. Schopenhauer was well aware of this. Because of his knowledge and superiority, which society characterized as conceited and uncomfortable to be around, he isolated himself over his life. In a letter to her son, Schopenhauer's mother, a German writer and philosopher from the 19th century said, "Your super cleverness obscures all of your good qualities. Since nobody wants to be better or more educated in this way, you irritate others around you. Allowing yourself to be somewhat foolish might occasionally benefit both you and those around you. It can significantly improve your life quality. Imagine, for instance, that two persons, one very smart and the other not, are employed at the same dull office job. An intelligent person might consistently wonder about the meaning of his work, its role in society, and whether it is helping him achieve his objectives. Feelings of irritation and discontent may result from this. On the other hand, the less intelligent person can just take the job as a means to an end without considering its greater significance. He might not be troubled by existential concerns and be happy with his salary and the regularity of his job. Arthur Schopenhauer wrote about the importance of stupidity in arguments and disputes in The Art of Controversy. He maintained that in disputes, especially when one side is purposefully being challenging or uncooperative, idiocy can be a potent weapon. According to Schopenhauer, one might annoy opponents and knock them off balance by becoming naive or stupid, which makes it harder for them to provide a convincing case. A self-assured fool will win the affection of the public, while a bewildered thinker may lose ground. Have you ever witnessed instances in your life of really dim politicians, members of parliament, or even presidents defeating far more intelligent opponents in election campaigns? If so, you can appreciate the impact of foolish audacity. Does using stupidity as a weapon require you to be an idiot? Not always. Does it work? It is indeed. Is using it morally acceptable? There are proponents and opponents of such strategies, therefore it is a topic for another conversation. Personally, Schopenhauer thought that the most moral way to utilize stupidity in a dispute was as a defensive strategy. One way to escape criticism and avoid having to defend one's position is to pretend to misunderstand or misinterpret an opponent's argument. Schopenhauer was cautious to point out that the strategy of employing foolishness in arguments should only be applied carefully and infrequently. He felt that, rather than depending on dubious means, genuine intellectual development and advancement could only be achieved by having open, sincere discussions with other people. Boy, oh boy. Arthur Schopenhauer, one of the most gloomy thinkers in history, had a more optimistic outlook on politicians in the future than we do now. Politicians today employ every shady tactic in the book to seize power, and it appears that one of their most effective and preferred tools is stupidity. Stupid people may be ignored in risky, life-threatening circumstances like hostage-taking, war, and terrorist attacks. Why? Due to the fact that they are regarded as useless. You should conceal your intelligence. If not, be ready for severe repercussions. According to a Japanese saying, the nail that sticks up will be hammered down, meaning that showing off your wit isn't always a good idea. There are several instances of suffering intellectuals throughout history. Thousands of scientists, authors, musicians, and artists were persecuted, tortured, and killed during the Nazi era in Germany because they were viewed as non-German. The Nazis were not interested in dull people or those who pretended to be dull. Intellectuals, educators, and professionals were among the bourgeois elements that Mao Zedong and his supporters targeted during China's Cultural Revolution, which lasted from 1966 to 1976. They were all above average in intelligence. They were transferred to labor camps, tortured to public humiliation, and occasionally executed. Many intellectuals and educated people were singled out and persecuted by the new Soviet state during the violent and turbulent post-Civil War era in Russia. The Bolsheviks, led by Lenin and later Stalin, viewed the intelligentsia with distrust and deemed it a potential threat to the new regime. During the Red Terror, a time of extreme violence and repression, many people were detained, imprisoned, or put to death. Their criticism of the nascent Soviet nation did not result in their death. That was not even anything they dared to do. The mere fact that intellectuals were more intelligent than permitted led to their destruction. Only those who were skilled at playing dumb made it through these difficult times. In his book, The Art of War, the ancient military thinker Sun Tzu advised readers to appear weak when you are strong. And it appears that a lot of people have done just that throughout history by concealing their cunning. Indeed, contemporary culture may despise such survival strategies and condemn their forebears. But as Schopenhauer contended, an individual's pleasure is not dependent on the views of others. Even if everyone in our neighborhood thinks negatively of us, we can still live and be content, playing dumb in order to be creative and have an easy life. Less intelligent species are more likely to survive, even in the animal realm. For instance, consider cockroaches. Compared to cats, dolphins, and lions, they are thought to be less clever. They can survive in nearly any environment, though, and there are billions of them in the planet. They can endure nuclear radiation and go for extended periods of time without food or water. It's amazing to learn that cockroaches can live for weeks or months after having their heads severed. But let's put insects out of our minds and end our discussion in a more agreeable and human-centered manner. Playing dumb can help you survive a Nazi government and defeat a more intelligent opponent in debates and arguments, as was previously discussed. Although there are benefits to intellect, it's vital to keep in mind that there are also benefits to being seen as less bright or foolish. These advantages can aid people in surviving, finding happiness, and appreciating life.